Again guys, back with another unboxing from my latest order from cubes.com. This is the next one out of the box, and I can see straight away through there what this one is. Another one I've wanted for quite a while, never quite got around to. This is available in coloured plastic, but I tend to prefer my puzzles in black plastic just to kind of be consistent with the rest of my collection. I prefer it like that way. I know some other people prefer lots of different types of colours and puzzles, and obviously it's down to personal preference. There it is. It's a 4x4 shape mod. Is it Trajbers Octahedron? And this is another one, like another puzzle I unboxed recently, the Cane Cube, which has multiple solved states. You can turn these in the middle here like this, and yeah, it's still solved. So as a solving experience, it's a bit different. You don't go around obviously matching the same colours together on the centres and things like you would in a regular 4x4, so it's quite different to solve. Turning quality of this, these 2x2 layers they're okay. You can feel actually it's kind of breaking in a little bit as I start turning them, so they're a bit stiff to start with, but they improve with a few turns, so that's good. And the outer layers, yeah, they turn really well actually. Yeah, that one's a bit stiffer. That's quite a lot stiffer actually. That one's quite catchy. Hopefully that will break in. If not, I might have to take that apart and see if there's some flashing on that one, because there's definitely a bit of something catching on that one. That one turns absolutely fine. Let's do that one. So yeah, once again, just like the Cane Cube, it's 4x4 shape mod, which you're going to have to solve in a different way, because you don't, as I said, you don't go around matching the centre colours up with each other, which you obviously most people with a 3x3 reduction method would do first. You have to find a different way of doing things. So let's scramble this one up before I go away and solve it and give you my final thoughts. But yeah, this is the turning quality of this definitely isn't as good as the Cane Cube that I also unboxed recently. But it's certainly not terrible either. I have actually solved this once before, that belongs to my friend, so I do hopefully remember how to go about it mostly. So it wasn't horrendously difficult, but it's certainly not trivially easy because of the different way you have to go about it. It certainly skews your perspective quite badly compared to a regular 4x4. Well, then that's the whole point. Adding another challenge, isn't it? So that isn't a complaint. Yeah, you definitely have to get this one quite well lined up before you turn it. Well then, I think I'm going to call that scrambled. I don't know what else I can tell you about this one before I go and solve it. I'll go away and solve it, and I'll get back to you once I've done so. Hi again guys, as you can see, the Trajbers Octahedron 4x4 is now solved again. If you saw my recent cane ball videos, you'll notice that this is very, very similar in that there's multiple solved states, etc. I think I probably already said that in the first part of this video. So solving wise, it's actually basically identical to the cane ball. It's like many shape mods, skews your perspective slightly, so it's not quite as obvious instantly exactly what needs to go where, which is good obviously. You want something that adds a bit of an extra challenge, but it really wasn't much different from the cane ball. If I had to choose between the two, I think I'd probably go for the cane ball. I think that looks a bit nicer and works a bit better, but this is a cool little puzzle as well, certainly not expensive, so it's definitely one I like having in my collection. Turning wise, it's broken in quite a bit since I first opened it. It turns a fair bit better now, especially these outer layers. The inner layers, they turn fine, The actual turning is fine. What they don't do is any real corner cutting. So you do have to get things lined up quite precisely before you can turn them. I'm not looking for corner cutting for speed solving purposes on these, as I've said many times before. What I'm looking for is just a little bit of corner cutting so that you don't have to have things absolutely lined up before you can turn them. The problem with this is because you've got kind of angled surfaces, if you're struggling trying to get something to turn on this side, your fingers on the back will turn another face by accident. You're in the middle of an algorithm, you lose where everything was, and next thing you know, you've got to restart solving what you were doing. But other than that, it's a fun little puzzle. As I say, it turns well. This hasn't been lubed or anything. It's been solved a few times to break it in, and it turns reasonably well now. So yeah, if you haven't got anything like this with the 4x4 shape mods with multiple solved states like this, I definitely recommend it. If you already own a cane ball or the one that's called a peg top, then this probably won't add much to the solving challenge, but it's a fun little puzzle to have in your collection, I think, anyway. But yeah, don't expect it to add a huge challenge if you already own those. If you don't, then you'll find that this is the way you go about solving this is quite different to a 4x4, because what you can't do is match up pairs of edges and match up all your centres, because you don't know which centres belong together, because you've got these multiple solved states. There's no set pattern of centres that have to go together. Now I suppose you could start on one centre and work out what exactly needed to go into the others, but I actually did it in an entirely different way. I solved things in a completely different order to what I normally would on a 4x4, and so it adds a new challenge to the solver, and it's an interesting solving process. I thoroughly enjoy the solving process that goes with this. Okay then guys, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care now. Bye.